Singleness of life as a gift. Yes, today we're going to talk about singleness of life as a gift. Why is it a gift? What do you do with a gift? You usually take a gift and enjoy or try and open a gift. If I give you a gift and you never open it, you'll never ever enjoy whatever has been in that gift. The singleness of life is that gift that God has blessed every single one of us. Genesis, let's go back to the manual of life, right? Genesis chapter 2 tells us that God created man from the dust of the earth and he breathed the breath of life in man, and man became a living soul. And God himself said it wasn't good for man to be alone. And guess what God did? God gave him a job. God gave Adam a job after saying it wasn't good for him to be alone. And after doing his job, he himself came to the awareness that he needed something. He didn't go asking that, oh God, now I need a woman. No. He came to that awareness. He was prepared because he was already in his purpose, doing that which God had asked him to do. And so when God prepared the woman, brought it to him, the first thing he said was, the bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, she shall be called a woman. And he started prophesying the power of a woman. It goes to tell you, God didn't tell him that that was flesh of his flesh and bone of his bone because he was asleep. But when he got up, the God factor in him told him exactly what God had presented to him because he was ready. His mindset, he was ready. His mindset, he was already working in the presence of God, being ordered and directed by God. His thoughts were God's thoughts. He was thinking as God. God didn't create Adam and Eve at the same time. No. So God created every single one of us in singleness. Even twins, triplets, they all will come out one after another with intervals of maybe 2 minutes. So, but they all, singleness of life. That's the power we all carry. That during these times of singleness, we develop our character, we develop the foundations that we can build. What are we building on? We'll build relationships, we'll build businesses, and we will build careers based on that foundation. We know people where you've left a company because of an attitude for somebody. People have left marriages because of attitude and character of people. Why? They never spend time building the gift that God had blessed them with to open and understand. When you start opening and getting closer to God and understand the gift of singleness, you will not see your single times as a miserable time. You will not see your single times as a waiting game, waiting to be married, waiting for somebody to come. And what if nobody comes? I'll tell you a story. I remember as a little girl, it just dropped in my spirit now. I remember as a little girl, when my dad was sharing with the brothers that always going to send us abroad for further studies, my uncles were so angry. Why are you wasting money on girls? They're married and that money will be shared with the husband's family. And my dad's answers to them was, what if my daughters never get married? It's that culture that we still operate today. It's the same culture we're implementing today in life. So you see people who are single. Every time you see people, are you still single? Your friends will ask, are you still single? It's like something is missing out of you. Something. And the truth is, those who are single are so desperate to get into marriage. Those who are married are looking for ways coming out of marriage. Why? Why? Because our foundation, the gift that God blessed us with, we never spend that time digging and digging and digging to understand, God, why did you send me on earth? Why am I here? Am I here just to get married? Am I here just to be a single woman? We read the Bible and we see the Apostle Paul. He encourages all of us. He says, I wish you guys don't get married as I am, because he was in the purpose of God. He was serving God. There are people, I believe, on earth who are meant to be single, and they're having the best of life. During your singleness, not only would you learn, the advantages sometimes are what? Less trouble, less complications from people. You'll have time to spend with yourself. You'll have time to grow in you. You'll have time to develop you before even meeting a couple, before even meeting a partner. Because if two people are single who have developed themselves, who have opened the gift of singleness, and when they couple as a couple, they understand what is expected from one another. They understand their core values of life. They understand how they have grown themselves. So when trials, when situations, circumstances in life appear, they're able to navigate it. They're able to be compassionate for one another. They're able to, Bible says, pray for one another. They're able to confess your sins to one another. Pray for one. So you will start to understand your limitations. You will start to understand that my singleness was actually to grow, to become a better me. Because whatever you're learning, guess what? It's not for you. It's for somebody else. How you grow your foundation, it's not even for you. It's for somebody else. That's the beauty. So when you get into marriage, understanding that and your partner understands that, that union becomes a very strong one, because there is respect for each other. There's total loyalty of each other. The moral standards in your relationship will be completely different. Why? Because you two have grown. You two understand, have put a value to yourself, put a price on the sacrifices you have made to develop you. You'll not settle for second best. You'll not settle for fourth best. You'll not settle for anything lower. But the gift that God entrusted to you to be a blessing to this generation, not to come and feel downcast about yourself, not to come and feel sorrowful about yourself, but see it as a gift to go higher. I encourage you, next time when you see somebody ask you, are you still single? By the way, if they're married, turn around and ask them, are you still married? I read a statistic somewhere, 75%, I think it was in America, 2018, 75% of marriages end up in divorce in the church. And the question, as I was meditating and preparing for this series, was, why is there so much divorce happening? Because people are pushed into marriage without understanding the importance, the gift of singleness. We're not trained to be single. We're not trained to develop ourselves. The women are not trained on how to grow, know themselves. The men are not trained on how to be good fathers, good husbands, good responsible individuals, so the next generation can copy from them. If we look around our homes today, we look around our societies today, we look around our friends, you will still see the discouragement in marriages. I spoke to one of my daughters a few months ago, and she was telling me, Auntie, there is no reason for me getting married because I'm not seeing good example. But marriage is a good thing, because marriage didn't come from you, it didn't come from me, it came from God. And everything God gives us is good. But guess what? We have destroyed it without opening the gift of singleness, without opening that priceless foundations of singleness to become the better people in future. You know, as I was just sitting here and meditating, I wondered, when you see a mango tree and there are fruits on that mango tree, the fruits are bearing so much, or the apples are bearing so much. Who are those apples bearing for? Are they for them to eat? or for you and I to eat. That's exactly the times of singleness. You are growing to be enjoyed by the world. You are growing to be to be a blessing to nations that don't yet know you. That becomes a lesson for the next generation. That become an inheritance that you pass on to the next uh, people, to the next generation coming behind you. If you don't do that, we will still end up with a worse generation with all that is happening in the world. But knowing that God Himself chose Peter, who was a married man, to become one of His pillars, and chose Paul, who was unmarried, to become one. God shows us the blend of our singleness that we're all needed in His kingdom. So join us as we all dig deep in our foundation, looking at the core of who we are, and trusting and empowering ourselves to become better human beings, not only for ourselves, not only for our children, for those who yet to know us. We'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to also know your views, what you think. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Stay blessed. Bye for now.